I had a feeling we have to try this, because if this worked, I would have a story to tell. And today is the day I'm telling you the tale. Hi everyone, welcome to another video. Today I will be sharing with you a story in relation to the growth of our fruit trees. And the reason why I'm telling you this story is to firstly document how they look like at the moment, just to see the difference of the scenery and the landscape in the future, and to also share with you a lesson that I have learned. Okay, so as you can see, this is a row of fruit trees, and they are planted on a mound of soil. So the ditch was created taking the soil out and putting it on the side. And this system is called a swale system, and it is a tree growing system. However, it doesn't fit all the landscapes, so you have to be careful with implementing this system. I am proud that actually these trees are looking really good. However, the truth is, according to logic, they should have been probably dead a long time ago. And the reason being why is that they've been planted really late in the season. And this occurred contrary to our plan. And me and my partner's plan was to plant them in late winter or early spring. However, because I devoted a specific location for these trees, this location being in the place we are at, and I wanted them to grow in a swale system. However, back then we didn't have those ditches being dug, and we were waiting for an excavator machine to come. However, we should have thought this through better and organized everything at least 3 or 4 months ahead, if that's even possible. We're in Italy, so lots of patience is needed. So the company was postponing arrival on our side from week to week, from month to month. And then in March, we received a huge amount of snow. We needed to wait at least a few weeks. Then in April, they were busy on other sites where they needed to do some urgent works, and we couldn't hire a different company because they were too far away from us. It just wouldn't be financially feasible. So we just needed to be patient. And finally, after visiting their office 3 times a week for at least 3 to 4 weeks, they agreed to come and do the work. We paid a lot. So actually, it's not that they suffered. I think they earned a lot. It was 2,000 euros for 2 days of work. However, we consider this to be a really good investment anyways. We wouldn't be able to do it with our hands, considering our chores and our jobs and everything. And this system will pay off. So yeah, it is something really important. It is rehydration system of the landscape. Here in Mediterranean climate, we have really hot summers and almost no rain. So this system will help to catch every drop possible that falls from the sky. And it will help to keep the water longer in the landscape, because we're living on the hill, and normally the water is running off really, really fast down the hill to the valley. But with the systems we've created, and I will be telling you about them in future videos, we are able to regenerate the landscape. What was unusual was that on the first day of excavation works, the temperature suddenly rose from 15 degrees Celsius to over 30 degrees Celsius. And all of a sudden, we were in the middle of the summer with the really scorching heat. They have done excellent work. They've dug key point dam for us, and 2 longer swales and 1 mini swale. And it took the operator 2 full days to do that. So we are quite pleased. However, the trees were still waiting to be planted. So we had 2 choices, either to transplant the trees to large pots, keep them in shadier area and just hope for them to survive during really hot summer, or plant them on swales as I originally planned. I had a feeling we have to try this, because if this worked, I would have a story to tell. And today is the day I'm telling you the tale. So these trees survived really rough conditions right from the beginning in terms of the temperature. And to be honest, we didn't have much hope. We just hoped for the best. We hoped some of them would survive, but actually all of them survived that we've planted. And what we did was that we were heavily mulching them. There are 2 lessons I wanted to share with you. The first lesson is not to plant your fruit trees late in the season. Don't wait for too long. Just plant them in another area, or have a plan B. Condition the soil for those plants to be planted in case something doesn't work out with plan A. And the second lesson is to mulch your fruit trees and veggies. It is especially important in the dry climate. Mulch really helped. I think without mulching, those trees wouldn't survive in such a heat. So what mulch does is it keeps moisture for a longer amount of time, and it slowly breaks down. So occasionally you have to add some mulch, like for example, after 2 to 3 weeks, you have to provide another material, another batch, because over time it decomposes, but it is great because whilst decomposing, it slowly releases nutrients straight to the soil, straight to the roots of your trees with the force of gravity. So we're really pleased. And even if you have great productive species, everything is great with your fruits, you don't have any insects, it's still worth to get to the habit of mulching, because you never know when the weather is going to change. You never know when it will be like a smaller amount of rainfall. Once you start creating mulch, it will really benefit you no matter what's going on with the climate. As I was saying, it decomposes over time, so your fruit trees have nutrients ready to digest. So it's really a great thing to do. And covering the soil, especially in dry climates, is so important. I cannot stress this enough. It is especially important on hillside because whenever there is a wind, it always causes topsoil runoff. So I think in our podcast, in the first episode, we will be talking about conditioning the field. As you probably noticed, we don't have many plants established yet. Most of what I have planned will happen this season in autumn, and we will be having more trees. However, until they mature, we are left with grassland, and some new species are emerging thanks to technique we're implementing, some herbs and like some flowers. So we have much more diversity already going on. So yeah, I think it will be a really interesting discussion. So I already invite you to watch that, and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And if you got value out of this video, I will appreciate if you hit the like button. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.